Okay, I'm going to read to you a story called Camping with Aunt Julie. This story has our same vocabulary words that you will see on Friday's test and that we've talked about all week through reading Charlie McButton. Okay, the first word is bat. Okay, bat, remember, is a small mammal. The next one is battery. A battery is a power source. Think about what charges and what you have to charge to use your devices at home, what you have to put in toys. A battery is a power source. The next word is blue. Okay, like if the wind blew hard, the wind is gusting. So blue means gusted. The next word is fuel. Fuel is material used to power and make things work. The next word is plug. Plug means to close. Think about like a bathtub. If you plug the drain, you're closing it. A term is a period of time, and vision is your eyesight, okay? So I want you to think about those words and listen for them as I read Camping with Aunt Julie. Aunt Julie loved to travel all over the world. She didn't travel in comfort. She preferred to camp out in jungles or hike up mountains without the comforts of home. Scott loved when Aunt Julie returned from her travels. She would open her book of photographs and tell exciting stories about the places she had visited. Then she'd give Scott his souvenir. Tonight, Scott held a beautiful piece of wood shaped like a shark. He felt the smooth wood and listened to Aunt Julie talk about an island far away. Scott gazed at the pictures and imagined Aunt Julie swimming in a blue ocean full of yellow fish and a shiny shark. Scott lived in a big city and did not travel much. He had an idea. "Aunt Julie," Scott began, "do you think I could go on a trip with you sometime?" "Sure," Aunt Julie answered. "I'm heading to the desert next week. Why don't you come with me?" Scott looked at his parents. He was surprised when they didn't object. In fact, they didn't even blink. When Aunt Julie pulled in the driveway, her van was filled with all kinds of camping things. She had sleeping bags, folding chairs, and small pots and pans. "Are you ready to head west?" Aunt Julie asked. "Let's go," Scott said as he tossed his suitcase in the van. Before the trip, Scott had a vision of his adventure. It included a soft bed, a television, and running water. "So, Scott, do you know how to set up a tent?" "A tent? Why do we need a tent?" Scott asked. "Why, to sleep in," Aunt Julie laughed. "The desert nights are cold." Scott was surprised. "We're sleeping in a tent? But what about a TV? I need to plug in my MP3 player." Aunt Julie just smiled and didn't reply. Scott felt trapped. The idea of living without his music and TV was like a prison sentence. It was punishment. That's why his parents didn't blink. When the travelers finally arrived in the desert, Scott was a little worried. The desert was beautiful, but it was also strange and scary. Aunt Julie started humming and setting up the tent. "Do you want to help put up the tent?" she asked. But Scott just sat on a rock listening to his MP3 player. The battery was low. Soon the player would be useless for the rest of his term in the desert. Just then, a large animal flew very close to Scott's head. Scott ducked. "What was that?" he asked fearfully. "Oh, just a bat," Aunt Julie replied with a smile. Scott jumped up and grabbed the tent. "So, how do we put this up?" Later that evening, Aunt Julie built a small fire with the wood she'd brought for fuel. She showed Scott how to roast marshmallows and told stories about desert animals and the stars. "The desert is filled with sound," Aunt Julie explained. "It has its own music." Scott sat quietly, listening to a few coyotes. He felt safe by the fire with his aunt. Then he realized why he liked her so much. Aunt Julie lived life without needing a lot of things. She didn't need a TV or an MP3 player. All she needed was to travel and spend time outside. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew out the fire and a large owl flew past Scott. This time, Scott wasn't afraid. "I'm lucky to have an aunt like you," he said, "and boy, will I have some stories to tell my friends when I get home." Okay, we are going to talk more about this and talk about the character, the setting, and theme when we talk on our call in just a little while. So I will see you soon. Okay, we're going to do a quick sentence and fragment review. Remember, sentences are complete thoughts that begin with capital letters and end with end marks. Fragments do not give me a complete thought, okay? So let's look at these examples. Number 1, playing with my sister is fun, okay? It's got a subject, playing with my sister. What about playing with my sister? Well, it is fun. So this tells a complete thought, capital letter, end mark. So that is an example of a good sentence. So I'm going to put an S here, okay? And this, we're just going over this together. You don't have anything there on your end to do. I want you to just listen and pay attention. Okay, so now let's look at number 2. The battery in the doll. Well, what about the battery in the doll? I have a capital letter, I have an end mark, but this isn't telling me anything about that battery. Okay, the battery in the doll. Okay, that is a fragment. It's not a complete sentence because that's just the subject. It's not telling me what the battery is doing. Okay, number 3, my mom listens to me read. Okay, what is my mom doing? She is listening to me read. So that is a complete sentence. It's telling me who and what they're doing. So that is a sentence. Number 4, helps me with my work. Does this tell me who? Who's helping me with my work? What's going on with helping me with my work? It's not telling me anything about that. Helps me with my work is a fragment. That is an incomplete sentence. Okay, let's look at our last one. I am going on a camping trip. Who is going? Well, I am. And where am I going? On a camping trip. So that is a good, complete sentence. Okay? So remember, sentences have to begin with a capital letter, end with an end mark, and have a complete thought inside the sentence. In your packet that looks like this, it says Reading 3rd Grade Extra Practice Review Work. I want you to flip over to, it's like the 3rd page that says punctuation, okay? Everybody flip and find that. We are going to talk a little bit about this, about punctuation, and then you're going to have an opportunity to work on this, and then we're going to talk about it on our call. Okay, so you need the punctuation page. Okay, I want you to look at the top. A period comes at the end of a statement. So if the sentence is a statement, it's going to end with a period. My favorite color is green. That needs a period for the end mark because you're just making a statement. Okay, the next one, a question mark, that's what it looks like, comes at the end of a question. For example, what is your favorite color? You're asking something, so you need a question mark. Okay, on this page, your directions say to read each sentence, determine whether the sentence is a statement or question. Write the proper punctuation mark at the end of each sentence. Okay, so let's look at number 1. What time does the bus arrive? This is asking a question. It's asking what? So it needs a question mark. Number 2, my favorite food is pizza. You're just making a statement and telling somebody what your favorite food is, so that needs a period. Number 3, the baby cub likes to snuggle up to his mother to keep warm. That's just a telling sentence that's making a statement about what the baby cub likes to do. It needs a period. Number 4, do you know how to ride a bicycle? You're asking do. That's a question, so it is a question mark. What, another question word, what is your favorite season? That's asking a question, it needs a question mark. Okay, we're going to do one more together. My brother plays football. We're just making a statement about what my brother's doing. So I'm putting a period. Okay, now I want you to do the rest. You're going to do 7 through 13 for us to check on our call. Okay, so you need to finish that so that we can check that together, and we are going to discuss that when we talk in just a few minutes.